All right, hey you guys, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm talking to you guys about reading nutrition labels. And for a lot of people, this can just really be confusing because for the majority of these, there's a whole bunch of information on here, some of what we need, some of what we don't need, but I'm going to break this down for you guys. Let's take a look. So this one is one of my favorite marinara sauces. I like it because all of the ingredients are pretty natural, so I like this one. Anyhow, so the first thing we want to look at is the nutrition facts. This one says it has about 5 servings per container, but we really don't want to divide this out into 5 servings because it says about, which could drastically range from anywhere between an extra 10 grams to an extra 50 grams. So we really want to look at this number right here where it says 125 grams for a half a cup serving. And a lot of times this is why we actually weigh our food, because a half a cup could weigh more or less than 125 grams. And if you were doing this over and over again, then this could be problematic for you. So this is going to give you the serving size and the calories. And then underneath that, it's going to give you the ingredients and then usually something on like how perishable it is or anything else. So you have some things down here. This one's certified gluten-free. For those of you who don't know, I do have celiac disease, so choosing foods that are gluten-free is really important for me and that they are certified. But this is where you'll see things like certified organic, certified GMO, all of those things. But what we want to look at is the macronutrients. So when we talked about getting started, we talked about your macronutrients are going to be your fats, your carbohydrates, and your proteins. And so when we are looking at these foods, those are the types of things that we want to be looking for. As far as fats go, when we look at our fats, we really are looking for a low number for saturated fat and for your trans fat. And so we want those fats to really come from things like our imported olive oil, and what else would have some of that in here? So that would probably be the main source of fat in this item is from olive oil, and it's from a plant, so it's going to be low in saturated fat. The other thing that we are going to look at is the sodium level. For a lot of processed foods, just meaning that they have done something to prepare it, to put it into a container and added a preservative, they will a lot of times add things like salt to preserve and make it last longer, and that could increase the amount of sodium. This one has just a regular amount of sodium in it, so there's nothing to be concerned about there. So moving on from our fats over to our carbohydrates, a lot of people are going to do what's called net carbs. I don't like to use net carbs because we still want to stay within a calorie range, and when you start counting net carbs, then it's easy to get outside of your calorie range if you're eating a lot of high fiber foods and not counting those. So we want to look at the total number of carbs, and we want to try to keep our sugar low, but I'm not really concerned with that. I'm more concerned with this top number up here where it says total carbohydrates, and this one says 9 grams. So we would want to count that. And then we are looking at this bottom number, and if you notice, these major things are all in bold. We want to draw your attention to those. So the last one that we're looking for here is protein. Your protein for this item, which is a tomato-based sauce, is 2 grams of protein. So if we have things like meat, we may have a little more protein than that. Okay, so one last thing that I'm going to say about your actual nutrition label, and I know that this is backwards, but when you're looking at the nutrition label, we want to look for something that is macro-friendly. And all this means is that you can be either really high in one macronutrient and really low in the others, or you can have an even number of macronutrients between all 3, protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And really what makes it macro friendly is that it easily fits into your macros for the day. So many foods can be macro friendly. So those are the types of things that we want to look for. But shopping in the grocery store, again, we want to look for our protein, our carbs, and our fats when we're talking about macros. And we want to check that serving size. That is really, really important when you're measuring out your food for when you are calculating your actual macros. So you may have more than 125 grams of the sauce, you may have less than that. And so when you plug that in with the macronutrients, it will usually, the app, I know MyFitnessPal does, it will do the math for you. But those are the things that we are looking for, especially also if you're going to be entering this in as an item into MyFitnessPal. This one for my luck is already there. All right. If you guys have more questions, please drop it in the comments, and happy shopping, you guys.